Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. Oh god, I'm dying. Slowly. It is what it is. The lights in the hotel shift for a second right after you both let go of each other's hands. Spooky shit. I just wanted to work in a bar, and I've just sold my soul to the devil? What do you... What would Ma think of if she knew? Whatever. What the hell? I was already going to hell anyway. So, Chief, I'm free to run the place, huh? Now, let's see. Luke looks around the lounge, his eyes fixated fixated on certain spots. He rubs his beak in a pensive fashion and occasionally pointing at stuff, going back and forth around the room. He then rests against the corner, drumming his fingers on the wooden seat. After a moment, he returns his attention to you and Asterion. Say, don't get me wrong, fellas, but this lounge, fancy as it is, looks a tad bit too old, doesn't it? I think it could use a makeover. Asterion looks at you. I have fond memories of this lounge's current layout, but the labyrinth has always shifted in appearance throughout the years. Maybe it's time to give it an update. Well, it could look more modern. Luke could barely contain his excitement. Alright, Chief. Let's start with these stools. Well, we could make them more comfortable, you know. We're gonna be taking in very old wanderers, aren't we? Yes, that's a valid point. The hotel's light flicker. The wooden stools have been replaced by more comfortable leather seats with metal frames. Well, what do you know? What do you know? I really did sell my soul to the devil. Is it too much to ask to make that brown leather red? I think it would tie the room together. The lights flicker again. The leather seats on the stool are now red. Alright, now let's do something about these lights. One by one, the lights flicker as you approve Luke's requests. He starts with the lights, dimming the chandelier at first before getting rid of it entirely. Yeah, add more red lights to the counter. No, make them pink. The red lights go over there, above the tables. Wait a minute. Speaking of the counter, make it more curvy. Yeah, just like that. I'm loving this. More curves behind the counter. Luke continues adding more touches to the lounge, essentially turning it into a nightclub. Then his requests take a turn for the worse. Alright, I want this to have access to the kitchen, so we can serve some grub while the guests relax. Burgers like Mom and Pa's. Oh, and we can have a pole over there. Can't forget the metal poles and the stage. Poles? A stage I can understand. But what are the poles for? For my numbers, of course. Trust me, Angus. I'll put the best show this joint has ever seen. I don't think a pole would be necessary, Luke. Alright, your call, boss. But let's keep the stage, shall we? You keep fulfilling the Griffin's requests until eventually he's satisfied. By the time you are done, the old lounge has turned into a high-end club with quick access to fast food and drinks. Luke's face is beaming. This place is a dream come true to him. Astron can only stare in horror. Well, fellas, if I did sell my soul, at least my portion of hell is gonna be the best one. This place used to be a hell of sorts. But that is in the past. Relax, Luke. The hotel just works like that. How about we have a drink to celebrate? We can explain it to you in more detail. Okay. Man, I was shouting a lot yesterday. That's probably why I'm like coughing so much today. I was yelling at a bunch of like bad Vanguard players. Uh, you spend the rest of the day with Asterion, and Luke is in the lounge, admiring the change in the decor, sharing drinks and exchanging stories. Luke had some interesting stories to tell about his life on the road. You recount some of yours in turn. The project you worked on, the instrument you tried to learn, the Renaissance painter you liked, and the one you hated. Asterion kept quiet for most of the conversation about past experiences. His brief answers made clear his apprehension about sharing his story with Luke. Still, the Minotaur had his shy smile throughout the whole night. As soon as the topic turned back to anything less personal, he'd rejoin the conversation. With the aid of a few glasses of wine, Asterion's posture relaxed. Slouched on his chair, eyes half closed, he was floating in a sea of bliss. Eventually, it started getting late, and you bid Luke farewell. You and Asterion, meanwhile, returned to the Master's quarters. Asterion stumbles about with you, drowsy but happy. He hums and sways his head back and forth. His hooves add a rhythm with echo through the hallway. When he looks back at you, his one eye has a faint glimmer. Long day, huh?
Yes, indeed. It's been so long. Time demanded its due. So much has changed. Peculiar faces, a different lounge, a whole new time, but I feel like I used to back then, surrounded by friends, talking well into the night. I have a purpose again. I cannot thank you enough.
It's nothing.
No, it is quite something. It is high honor to serve you, Master. Well, while we're at it, there's something about which I should inform you. It is your right as Master to know. As my duty as Keeper to inform you. Remember that story I told you in the lounge?
Which one? You told so many.
The one about Master Robert and his son, Master Bernard, whom I helped raise. Now, where should I start? I asked you today if you liked how I looked when I had tried on my clothes. That was not a trivial question. The Master has a right to determine how the Keeper should look. That, of course, includes how I should present myself, what my uniform should be. But it goes deeper than that. During Master Bernard's mandate, he deemed I should have white fur before arriving here. He was a physician, you see. He delivered it. He believed it would convey cleanliness. Meanwhile, Robert always wanted me to have black fur, even as a child. He thought I looked respectable and imposing like that, and that he too would seem powerful when riding my back. I suspect with time, Master Robert insisted I have black fur solely to annoy his father. The two of them bickered about it quite often. They'd even exchange jabs about it during dinner. But when father was on his deathbed, he requested a moment to talk, in private, with each and every one of his descendants. Not so private, in reality. I stayed by the bedside to annotate his will, to make sure each and every one would have their corresponding legacy. Midway through, he asked to see me, how he remembered me. His son, Aquasy.
How do I pronounce this? I assume I know what the word is, and I just... oh, the U and I are right next to each other on the keyboard. I forgot.
Acquiesce.
Acquiesce. Okay. Got there. Yeah. Okay. And no looking at notifications. No, we are recording. We are professional. We really aren't.
And I served him until the end. To my unfaltering servant, it's what he wrote in the letter. And Sir Robert, to my childhood playmate. This too is the master's right. You may choose how I should look. The labyrinth's magic will arrange it. By the oath I have sworn, I am obligated to inform. I am bound to instruct you, to the best of my ability, on all of the hotel's capacities. So you see, my asking master what he thought of my clothes, that was not trivial. Your will is in order.
But why is the master allowed to do this?
The why? I have burdened you terribly, my lord, with my rambling. I would not prefer not to weigh you down further with unsightly knowledge. But to answer your question in a deliberate way, as you can see, I can be healed quickly. The special wine I drink is used to hasten the process. I am terribly difficult to injure permanently. The labyrinth allows the master to control my form to an extent, with the goal of making it so I would not heal from certain injuries, should the master wish it so.
Excuse me. Pry further. What do you mean by that exactly?
I am obligated to answer your question, my lord. If it is truly your wish to know, then I shall tell. There were masters before the hotel who preferred to have my limbs removed. Under normal circumstances, the labyrinth would heal me and return them. Others preferred keeping me beheaded and conscious for months or years. With this power, the master can determine my default shape. But the people of this age are merciful, more so than first Athenian masters. Surely, to them, torturing me was an act of worship. One could say human ingenuity prevented the god's will.
Yeah, that's enough for... I don't need to know any more than that.
I suppose Master sees where I'm going with this. What is your will, my lord?
And which one do you want, Asterion? Which color would you rather be?
Excuse me.
You heard me. What color would you rather be? What do you prefer?
Master, need not worry about what I want. I am the servant. My will shouldn't affect your judgment.
But I want to learn more about you. I would appreciate knowing, even if you don't think it matters. The Minotaur sighs and bites his lip. You think you displeased him you displeased him somehow, but then a smile grows, shy as a blossoming flower.
It means a lot to me that you asked. It is very kind of you. It is just... pardon me. I am not used to being asked what I want.
The Minotaur turns around and picks up a bottle of wine you had brought from the lounge. With a trained dexterity, he opens it with a corkscrew. Asterion turns back to you, then looks down the wine glass on the table. He holds the bottle with both hands, like one would hold a cross over their chest. He steps towards the glasses, but pauses and puts the bottle to his hip. You can see his Adam's apple bobbing as he drowns his sorrows. When he meets your gaze, there is a softness in his eyes you hadn't seen before.
If Master wishes my honesty, I would be soothed if I knew Master appreciated me. My first color is secondary at best compared to that. I suppose I struggle with putting it into words.
Eh?
The master, the masters have commanded me to change, to fix their visions. The same goes for how I should act and address them. And I obey eagerly. Because I thought it would make them like me more. And if they appreciate me, won't they at least... won't they, they'll be less likely to send me out into the valley. I will eagerly don whatever color you wish, if it will make Master like me more. Perhaps even prize me. It is not often I have been asked what I want. I am a prisoner, after all. Why should the jailer care for my comfort? That you would extend me such consideration, that is reason enough for me to rejoice. In which case, is it right I give you an answer, one clearer than what I've told you so far? When I was alive, my fur was white. In my dreams, I still see myself with the same white fur. In the waking world, I look down and sometimes can't withhold a certain surprise to find out if it isn't the case. After all those years locked away, I had even forgotten what my fur color currently was. The master wanted an answer. That is it. White fur would be nostalgic for me. Still, I'd be happy no matter what. As long as you don't hurt me. Please, don't feel pressured to consider this as your decision. I'm already happy you cared enough to ask. Whatever your choice is, I will be cheerful.
I won't hurt you. I won't hurt you. I understand why you are afraid. I could see myself being suspicious of any new master after what happened to you. My words might not convince right now, but I'll say that nevertheless, I won't hurt you. The Minotaur holds on tightly to his bottle of wine. He looks down and bites his lip. A sudden weight seems to bear down on his neck.
I am only half bull. I am acquainted with the wiles of the human heart. Perhaps Master takes pity on me tonight, but I know how fragile human whims are, how they fade so quickly. I have thought long and hard about those decades locked away, about this hotel, my sentence, my previous masters, and a young boy I knew. He was around my age. His name was Icarus. His father fashioned wings out of beeswax and feathers from the both of them. Icarus had the hubris of flying too close to the sun. He fell to his death in the sea below, and we met in Hades after my death. I thought about him, that boy. Had I committed the same mistake of allowing myself to be happy? Joy was never my lot in life.
Asterion caresses the table like he would a lover. His nails graze against the wood, clicking just loud enough for you to hear.
Much like Icarus, I enjoyed a glimpse of freedom, while this hotel was my set of wings.
A chilly blizzard blows from from the window. It sends a shiver down your spine, and a sudden stone coldness to Asterion's face. Man, so reading this reminds me a lot of, like, I don't even know if I should tell this story. It's bad. But, like, are any of you familiar with Symphogear? You know, the greatest anime franchise ever made. The mecha power suit, almost Kamen Rider-esque magical girl idol action series. There may or may not be motorcycles and alchemy. But I'll always love that episode in GX where like where Tsubasa calls her swords wings. Where she's fighting a villain whose power she can destroy swords, and Tsubasa fights with swords. And in their final battle, she's like, I can't destroy your swords. Why? And Tsubasa goes, you think these are swords? No. They're wings to fly me to my dreams. And then I had to pause the episode and stare at the wall for about an hour because I couldn't deal with that line of dialogue. It's been years. Like, GX aired in like 2015. And I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about that trash scene. Maria, best girl, by the way.
There are promises which cannot be fulfilled, my lord. The hotel knows this well. Not all contracts can be made to have an effect. The labyrinth would not allow one that that opposes its stated mission. There was one master who, early in his mandates, tried passing a contract which would forbid any and all from harming me. It could not be made for it to have an effect. The ink would drip off from it. The paper aged and rotted like milk. Worse still, his charity ran out one day. It is easy to offer one gesture of mercy, but to have it last requires a special kind of intensity. Power reveals what lays underneath. There were a number of gentle masters who turned sour and grew comfortable with harsh punishments. Even the kindest ones have not shied away from punishing me. It was their mission, after all.
You and Asterion both stare at each other. He eventually looked away, scratching the left side of his face.
I. Please forget what I said, my lord.
You approach Asterion. You raise your hand and cradle the left side of his face. You run your finger over his short fur while taking care not to get too close to his injury. Asterion hesitates, but with each caress of your fingers, his eyes close further, and he leans his weight against your hand. I promise, I won't send you to that valley. I won't, and I won't hurt you. Asterion fully supports his weight on your hand. His eyelids flutters, as if he was falling asleep. You lift your other hand and begin petting the right, healthier side of Asterion's face. The Minotaur leans towards you, and you scoot closer to balance his weight. You let the Minotaur have his nap until his ears flick. You give a gentle rub, and his eyes shot open.
Master Josh. I am sorry. I don't know what got to me. It must be the drowsiness. It won't happen again.
He remains with his head in your hand. It's fine. How are you feeling now?
I'm well.
Good. Asterion hesitates further before prying himself away from you, but with a sigh he does so.
Again, I am so sorry.
You did nothing wrong. There's no reason for you to say that.
As you say, my lord.
It's alright, Asterion. I'll be different, don't you worry. Oh, I still have to pick. Let's go with the white fur.
Oh, if Master would allow an impertinent inquiry, did you choose white fur because of what I said? As I explained, I am happy enough knowing you care to ask. You need not restrict your choice because of me. Anyhow, if white fur is truly your want, then I gladly obey.
Asterion closes his eyes and focuses. Before your eyes, his fur begins to change. Asterion's fur is now a lustrous white white color, as per your request. I kind of wondered why I saw a lot of artwork with him with white fur. But I guess knowing what, like, Asterion said, like, I guess most people would choose the white fur. But okay.
I'm honored with your choice, Master.
Asterion heads to the kitchen to prepare your dinner. From time to time, you see him staring at his arms while he's cooking. Like, I'll be honest, I thought, like, the Minotaur with black fur was a separate character. Because I see that every once in a while, and I assume that's Asterion. Now I assume that's Asterion. Maybe he's getting used to his new fur color. After a while, Asterion returns to the table, serving you dinner, and sits on the opposite end of the table as usual. When you look up, you are greeted with Asterion's big, dopey smile. He tries to contain himself, but it ends with him having to stop him giggling. At times, he almost dozes off, still with a smile plastered on his face. You finish your meal. Asterion goes to pick up your dish, as usual. This time, you left a big chunk for him to have, and he smiles as he heads to the kitchen. You bid each other goodnight, and then head to your respective bedrooms for the night. The following morning, as usual, the sounds of Asterion's hooves clop on the floor, and the smell of breakfast wakes you up. I think I'll end the part here. That way we can start the next part at the beginning of the day, you know. I'll see you around, everyone.